wounded children have a rage, a sense of failed justice that burns in their souls. What do they do with that rage? Since they would never harm another, they turn that rage inward. They become the target of their own rage. They repeat in their thoughts the same harmful words that were spoken to them. They must lash out, but the only weak ones to attack are themselves. Quote by Woody Hayken. Sometimes, our childhood wounds affect us greatly, and at some point we might not even realize that we spend our entire lives acting from a place of woundedness, not attracting the people we desire, nor landing jobs that we want, and not grabbing opportunities when they are presented to us. Some of us keep these wounds a secret for the fear that it might prove to others or the world that we are losers who deserve nothing. It is critical, though, to note that, in reality, sharing our hurtful stories that some might consider shameful frees us, because then we realize that we are not the only ones going through such an experience, and these wounds are not ours alone to carry. Sometimes we don't share our stories because those who hurt us are our loved ones who were meant to protect us. That's why, as a parent or a caregiver, one needs to be intentional and very careful with the way and what you say to the child at a young age, as they are vulnerable, and these wounds them for life. If you are an adult who was wounded as a child, by keeping these stories, experiences, and encounters a secret, you end up hurting yourself, thus blocking the chance to heal, and thus living half a life. Most of our childhood wounds are majorly caused by our parents because they're the ones we encounter first. And in today's video, the term child wounds will be specifically referring to both father and mother wounds. So what causes child wounds? Parental neglect. Child wounds mostly arise if your parents did not respond in an appropriate way to events that were impactful to you, showed little or no interest in getting to know you, and they minimized or dismissed your emotions. See why we are supposed to honor our emotions and those of others and not minimize their feelings? It can also come about as a result of your parents not responding after you experience difficult emotions, or always encourage you to be strong and get over it and get over the hurt whenever you are attempted to share your emotions. Are you a person who, when something big happened, there was little or no emotional response from your parents, or your parents did not give you rules and structure? This also causes child wounds. The common manifestations and emotions related to childhood include: first, you find yourself wanting to be needed. Are you a person surrounded by a partner or close friends that are constantly struggling in one way or another? They are always calling you to fix things for them, or suffering from addiction, constant drama, to name but a few. And because they mostly need or depend on you, their need for you makes you feel valued, important, and wanted. If yes, you will always end up attracting needy and unhealthy relationships and always suffer serious burnout. Work on healing this trauma to attract meaningful, healthy relationships. Second, abandonment issues. If your parent wasn't emotionally available or present, these may show up in attracting unavailable people. Relationships will often burn out after a while, and you will be quick to get into the next one. You will feel afraid to be by yourself and fear being left. Third, feeling of you are not good enough. If your parents were so strict or hard on you, this can manifest as not feeling good enough or worthy, always feeling like you want more and are never happy with what you have. Fourth, you give more into your relationships. Do you always feel compelled to take care of others? Do you have a hard time saying no and often repress your thoughts or opinions for the fear of disturbing the peace of others? And your thoughts and actions are often with others in mind and not your own wants and needs. You act as the caretaker who sets out to help everyone around them, but ends up self-abandoning. Or you find yourself engaging in severe behaviors like fixing, rescuing, or controlling others. You take on the role of the mother or parent in romantic relationships. This is a problem you need to fix. Fifth, you avoid conflict. Are you a person who doesn't express your own thoughts or needs because you are afraid if you do it, you'll upset the other person? And so, you put your own values aside to make sure others are happy. You set your own problems aside to focus on those of others and to make sure others are happy. You attempt to avoid conflict. You rarely get upset, but when you do, it's extreme. Do you know someone like this? You feel uncomfortable expressing strong emotions and try to remain neutral. If it is a lady who was wounded by the father, she will always feel fearful, distrustful of, or preyed upon by men. This is a problem you need to work on, and just to note, it is okay to state your truth. 6. You feel that you have to be in control of everything and everyone around you. This could be realized through over-controlling of emotions, deciding how you feel, rather than tuning into the emotions that are really arising. This could be a person trying to control the actions, opinions, or emotions of someone else. It is toxic. 7. You are emotionally reactive. Are you the type of person when your emotions come to the surface, you act quicker than you have time to think? At times, this leaves you feeling out of control because your emotions take over. This is a response from a wounded self. 8. Trust issues. If your parent wasn't fully present in your life, you may experience lack of trust towards yourself or others. This can manifest as attracting people who mirror back the lack of trust to you. This is unhealthy. 9. Abuse. If you watched your father abuse your mother, or vice versa, or experienced abuse from him or her yourself, then you may think that is how a relationship should be. If he was very controlling or dominating, you may have repressed your truth and struggled to set boundaries. 10. Weak boundaries. You lack boundaries and sense of self, and have the inability to say no and honor your space. This wound is developed from seeing one of your parents people please and always put him or herself last when dealing with other people. Hence you struggle to speak your truth and tend to be a people pleaser that says yes to everything and everyone in fear of making others upset. As a caregiver, remember children learn by observing more, and they imitate your behavior. You also feel responsible for others and their emotional state, and you struggle to set healthy boundaries as you feel this might upset them or result to them not liking you. You feel uncomfortable to speak your truth because of the shame and fear lodged within you. You have poor boundaries and you often feel taken for granted. You may be hurt or resentful to others when you are not praised for all that you're doing. You're also always the strong one that doesn't cry or express emotions and keeps their problems to themselves. If you are a person who does this, know that it's not healthy and that you are self-sabotaging and people-pleasing, which in turn leads to resentment. 11. Guilt. You find yourself saying, I feel bad, or constantly saying, I am sorry. If something good happens in your life, you feel a sense of guilt because you feel you don't deserve it. Can you relate? If yes, it means you carry a lot of guilt from your 12th, codependency. You often find yourself in codependent relationships. You fear being alone, so you attach yourself to people to fill the void. You wait for permission from others to do what your heart and intuition is calling you to do. You become easily attached and dependent on other people. 13th, low self-esteem or low self-worth. People who suffer from low self-esteem subscribe to the statement of, "I just don't feel worthy." You constantly compare yourself to others and feel jealousy because of their accomplishments. When your purpose comes solely from pleasing others, it's easy to lose sight of yourself or feel lost. Do you have anxiety when making new decisions and you attract emotionally unavailable partners? Do you struggle with a sense of knowing who you are beyond who you have been told who to be? Feeling unworthy or creating a life of your own terms? Note that when you put others first, you are sending yourself a message that you aren't worthy or important. This can make you dive even more into behaviors like feeling threatened or competitive towards other men or women, engaging in dominating behaviors, oppressing, shaming, or abusing others. Yes, bullies suffer from low self-esteem. You unconsciously make choices and go out of your way to gain your parents' love and approval, which should not be the case. You believe there is something wrong with you. You really want to please others. You find it difficult to trust people, and you criticize yourself often. You also have trouble standing up for yourself or sharing your opinions. Do you feel unworthy of love or meaningful relationships with a core belief that you are not good enough and you must audition for love? Do you lack self-trust that makes you believe that all the answers are outside of self? Do you suffer in romantic relationships or unconsciously recreate the conflicted dynamic you had with a parent? Are you an overachiever who is super ambitious and always accomplishing it all, but can never acknowledge the progress? Are you obsessed with achieving it all, or very guarded from being hurt, and you constantly feel worried and unsafe? Do you quickly become attached to others and fear they will leave you, and might sometimes have a feeling of being lost without a purpose? All this is as a result of low self-worth and low self-esteem that mostly arise from child wounds. The mother and father wound affects us in different ways. The survival skills that we pick up for ourselves end up blocking us from the things that are meant for us. Yet, we can't see it if we don't heal this child wound, however. We will continue to hold ourselves back. Join me next week as I talk about ways to heal your child wounds. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now.